Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Land Trades, and today I'll be talking you through my watch list for January 15th, 2021. If you're new here, this is my weekly watch list video that I show what stocks are at the top of my watch list and what to watch out for this week. Don't be shy and hit that subscribe, as I am posting content like this every single week and I wouldn't want you to miss out. Make sure you stay till the end of the video to see what my favorite play for the week is. To begin, let's go over the economic events for this week. We have initial and continuing jobless claims on Wednesday, Delta Airlines will be releasing earnings on Thursday, and retail sales will be coming in hot on Friday. With these, we are looking to see if retail has been recovering and if there was an influx in volume over the holidays. We also have banks releasing earnings Friday, so I would watch out for that as well. I am watching for Delta and JP Morgan, as they could be big tells for their respective sectors. Based on how their earnings look, may be a preview for the airline and banking industry. So now let's go over what we saw this week. On Wednesday, we found out the Democrats had won majority in the Senate, and on this news, the market immediately ran up and has not stopped since. I believe this has to do with the idea that there will be a much larger stimulus package in the near future. I think this run-up will be short-lived, and in the next coming months, we will see a sell-off due to policy changes on taxes that Joe Biden has been very adamant about. If we take a look at SPY on the all-time chart, we can see it has continued to hold this breakout, and I believe that it will in the short term. Due to interest and bond rates being so low and a possibility of more stimulus being pumped into the market, we have to look at it this way. With the amount of money that the government is printing, the dollar is being inflated, and because of this, instead of leaving their money in bank accounts to lose value over the next few years, people tend to put their money into assets that tend to gain value with inflation. This is a lot to unpack, and let me know down in the comments if you want me to do a separate video on this, because I know it will have a big influence on what the market does this year. But if we look at SPY on a shorter time frame, we can see that it has been trading between these two support and resistance trend lines since November. On Thursday, we then see a break of this initial resistance trend line and a bounce on Friday off of it as support. On a technical analysis side, this is very bullish for the market. And in the short term, I would expect a push to that 400 level before a decently sized pullback. However, I am still skeptical due to how much the market is going to be influenced by news and everything going on in the world right now. But on a technical analysis side, we can see it looks very nice. And if interest rates continue to stay low in 2021, people are going to stay in the market. Now, let's take a look at the stocks we were watching last week. The first stock we were looking at was Teladoc. As you can see, it broke this downtrend resistance and ran up 30 points until it was met with another resistance at 237. If we can see a consolidation around this level and a break above, I like Teladoc to possibly retest all-time highs at $253 a share. We also touched on Snow. If we pull it up on the 4-hour time frame, there we go, we can see that better. Going into their lockup date was on Thursday, and going into this lockup date, we saw it sell off from 280 to 260. However, on lockup, we didn't see as much selling from insiders as anticipated, and because of this, I believe shorts began to cover and people began to buy in, and that was the reason for the breakout of this downtrend. I like Snow to the upside now because it has broken out of this downtrend that has been stuck in the past 2 months. Then lastly, the last stock we covered was NIO. NIO had just broke out of its pennant formation and retested that resistance as support. I was expecting a run-up due to NIO Day this weekend, and as you can see, that's clearly what I did. I believe we'll see a continuation on Monday due to the really good news that came from NIO Day this weekend and a breakout of all-time highs on Friday. So continue to watch that and see what it does on Monday. I also think due to the inflated sector that EV is, I do see a decent pullback from people taking profits, but I'm sure this stock, it has insane news going into market open tomorrow, so I'm really waiting to see how high this could fly. But if it does pull back, which I hope it does, I do have a small position in shares, but I will continue to add as my price target is 100 plus for NIO. If you guys are still watching and following along, I would really appreciate if you could like the video and hit that subscribe button, as I do put a lot of work into these watch lists and I would really appreciate it. But for now, let's finally get into the plays that I'm looking at for this week. The first play I'll be looking out for is Snapchat. I love this stock, especially as a long-term hold, and it was holding a support trend line on the 4-hour chart ever since it reported earnings. Let me make this so you can see it better. So this light blue support trend line that it was holding until it hit all-time highs, pulled back, and was unable to bounce right here. It then fell to the 48.5 mark, and ever since, it has been bouncing between the 48 and the 54 price range. And with the 200 SMA right below, I like the chances that it's able to break through 55 and run if we can see it holding this level in the next coming weeks. With Snap's earnings coming up on February 2nd, I like it to the upside, and I will be entering a position if we could see a clear break of that 55 level. So that would be past all-time highs, which I know it is a little late, but I do like to enter my plays on confirmation, and that would be confirmation that we will be pushing higher on Snap. The next play I'll be looking at is Amazon. I've been watching this play for months now, and as it is nearing a breakout, I really wanted to highlight it. Since September, Amazon has been forming a pennant and has been bouncing between these two support and resistance trend lines. This week, it bounced off the bottom, and I would not be surprised if we can get a retest of that 3,300 range. Amazon is an expensive stock to play, so if you do have a smaller account, I would recommend playing this stock with spreads, as they are an efficient way of getting into expensive plays for a cheaper price. However, if we don't see a break or a bounce and retest of that 3,300 level and we fall below the support trend line, look out for that 3,000 level where Amazon has had a couple decent support. And if we can't bounce off there, I wouldn't be surprised to see it pull back to that 200 SMA or $2,900 level. And my final and favorite play this week that I will be watching is Palantir, or Palantir, or PLTR. It doesn't matter. It's formed a descending triangle on the 4-hour time frame with a consolidation and then bounce off the 200 SMA. This is the same exact thing that we saw last week in TDOC. We saw a consolidation on the 200 SMA and then a bounce, allowing us to break through this resistance trend line. If we can see the same thing play out on Palantir, I like it to the upside after a break of that 27 level. However, if it does get rejected and we could see it break down below that 200 SMA, I like it to the 22 level to the downside. One last thing I'll keep my eye on is TLT, as it is representative of bonds. To put it simply, when stocks go down, people rotate into bonds because they are a safe asset with a promised return. But when stocks go up, they tend to get out of bonds and invest in stocks. This is usually an indicator to tell whether people are willing to risk their money being invested in stocks, and as we can see here, TLT was at a key range at that 154 level and it just broke below. I see this as a bullish indicator. It shows that people are willing to have their money in stocks instead of bonds. That is all for today. I hope you guys enjoyed that video. If you made it this far and found this helpful, don't forget to like and subscribe and hit that bell button so you don't miss any of my brand new content. I hope you all have a great week of trading, and don't forget to not risk more than you're willing to lose. These next few months will most likely be very volatile, so please be careful. Best of luck to you guys, and let me know if you have any questions in the comments. I'll see you all next week.